Pag tinignan mo kung anong nangyayari sa moto industry sa mga panahon ngayon, grabe, nakakahilo. Ang daming motor. At ang ibig sabihin ko dyan, hindi lang yung sa dami ng isang genre or kung ano ang uso. Ang tinutukoy ko ay yung dami ng klase ng motor talaga. Automatic, sport automatic, automatic commuter, underbone, sport underbone, standard, neo standard, sport bike, sport adventure, adventure enduro, urban enduro, dual sport cruiser, sport roadster, neo classic, maxi scoots, maxi adventures, yung mga custom pa, cafe racers, scramblers, trackers, at kung ano-ano pa. Di naman ganyan nung araw eh. Parang gumawa na sila ng motor para sa lahat ng personalidad sa buong mundo. Ang matindi pa dyan, lahat yan nagkaroon ng eksena, di ba? May mga rider, nagkasundo, nagtayo ng grupo, nagkatropahan na, di ba? So in all of that, sa lahat na yan, eto naman si Kawasaki na naglabas ng isa na namang bagong standard na motor, isang neo-classic standard. This, folks, is the Kawasaki Z650RS. Maraming natuwa sa kuya nitong Kawasaki Z900RS. In fact, isa yan sa mga ginamit kong motor nung nag-training tayo sa California Superbike School a couple of years ago. Maganda ang naiwan na panlasa ng bike na yan sa akin. And ngayon pa lang, this early in this feature, masasabi ko na nahuli din nila yung sarap ng recipe ng Z900RS. Instinctively, madaling i-brush off ang mid-size segment, lalo na kung may kuya version nito na mas malakas, diba? Sabihin nyo, dun na ako sa mas malakas, dun na ako sa mas malaki, diba? Pero saglit lang, huwag niyong smallin ang mid-size segment. Masaya rin gamitin yan, maliksi at magaang.
Oh my!
So, essentially, ang laman loob nitong bike na to ay isang Z650. It's the same bike, it's the same chassis, it's the same engine. Nag-iba lang yung presentation para magmukha kang cool and old school. So isipin mo na lang na parang nagpalit lang siya ng damit. Now, apart from the obvious physical differences, yung forks nito, iba na. I'd say because of its, syempre, old school presentation, baka maisip mo na, teka, ba't ganyan na yung forks? Parang nag-downgrade sila ng performance? Ganun ba nangyari? Not at all. Actually, binagay lang talaga nila ito sa platform niya. Mukhang luma pero high-performing and modern forks pa rin siya. Yung seat height niya kumpara dun sa dati, we are now higher by 30mm at 820. Pero kutsyon lang yan eh, 'di ba? Yung dati kasi mas manipis yung kutsyon. So, pag upo mo na diyan, lulubog din yan. Pero kung medyo natataasan ka pa rin, meron tayong option para ibabayan down to 20mm. Makina nito, wala tayong masasabi dyan. Super subok na, parallel twin ng Kawasaki. Big bore siya, so medyo pronounced ito and not as quick to rev compared dun sa mga ibang bikes na smaller bore. Pero ito may diin. And kung nakasakay ka ng mga 80s to 90s na Jap bike, parang ganun. Pero syempre, mas moderno to, mas matindi ito. Cast wheels tayo ngayon and yung performance nito, same lang din para sa dati. Pati yung brakes from pedal to round, ganun din ang kidalabasan. Bosch ABS tayo in this bike, and in this segment, I would say medyo base and basic ABS ito compared sa makikita natin sa ibang bikes. Pero yun nga, tulad ng forks, binagay lang din nila ito sa platform, and it's working fine.
She thinks she missed the train to Mars. She's out back counting stars.
Again, depende rin talaga sa gagamitan, pero sa segment niya, isa na siya sa pinakamadaling gamitin pang syudad. Sa highway, kung sumusunod naman tayo sa speed limit, hindi tayo mabibitin dyan, di ba? Mabilis din ang dating niya papuntang 100 kph. Pero sa racetrack, pag all out, walwalan na, ayun, baka mga 10 bits ka kung ikukumpara to sa mga ibang smaller bore contemporaries niya doon sa straights. Pero bago ka umalma, preno ka muna, parada mo yung motor, umatras ka, take a few steps back, at titigan mo ang iyong motor. As you can see, hindi naman pang ganun yun eh, 'di ba? Sa syudad, komportable siya at easy-easy ang galaw niya. And despite na old school yung datingan niya, may smart neo or modern sensibility pa rin siya na pag nakita mo, alam mong bago to. Sa twisties, mas preferred ko yung handling nito kaysa dun sa Z900RS. Mas natutuwa ako dito. Pang Pinas, kung saan ka nakasituate sa syudad, paminsan-minsan na out of town, okay tong bike na to. Hulala! The Z650 RX. The Z series of Kawasaki has been one of their best sellers. I had a Z1000 before. Okay din yun. That was a really, really good bike. And we have the RS series, the Z650, which is more on the classic side of things. Let's take a look and appreciate the stance of the Kawasaki. Moment of silence, 3 seconds. Okay. Actually, 4 seconds yan. So, right off the bat, Kawasaki quality or KQ. Paint job, metallic. I have to appreciate this. I don't know if the camera can do it justice. Let's go nice and close. You can see the sparkle. This is done really, really well. Of course, ang caveat natin with metallic, pag yan ay tinamaan at hindi kayo nag-ingat, ang hirap po i-retouch. But again, at the expense of Pogi ka, diba? So I also like what they did over here. You got this extended plastic going underneath the seat, going out extended, and that's where all these lights are hanging. It just looks right, it looks nice. It looks retro, pero yung retro na alam mong pinag-isipan ng modern na tao. If I can say it that way. Normally, I'm very picky with the rear lights for neo-retros, but I wouldn't change this anymore. Although I can imagine this to be nice kung nilagyan natin ng tail tie diyan, yung wala yan lahat, and maybe mas tatago mo yung mga ilaw dito. But okay naman eh, di ba? One of my favorite things with the Kawasaki Z650RS is the seat. Ganda na upuan, ganda na upholstery, and you have actual stitching here also. Hindi siya yung fake stitching. Maganda rin yung contrast. You got your sporty type of upholstery here na makapit sa yung pants, and you got your leather here. Although this is synthetic, it's still fine. It just has a nice contrast with it, right? Nice touch here on the strap as well. And I just wanna appreciate the design cues that they have. Meron kang embossed mga, I don't know what you can call this, like shark gills maybe. And then it's also enforced over here. See? I like that. I like those little cues that they did there. Brakes, of course, we have ABS in the front and ABS in the rear. We're using Nissin brakes. And for our tires naman, we have Dunlops, ever reliable Dunlops. Recently, ginamit nila to sa track day. As you can see, track day pudpud right there. Gilid na gilid. So, yeah, Dunlops are pretty good. You're gonna get that when you buy the bike off the shelf. One thing I would request if there is an upgrade, I'm sure Kawasaki or aftermarket Kawasaki companies would have this already by now. If not, maybe soon. And I'm talking about spoked wheels for the RS series. Because if you're talking neo-classic, I think modern spoke wheels would look really good on this bike. What is also commendable with the Z650 is the headlight. It looks old school, but when you go close, LED siya, and you can see modern headlight siya. I'm gonna show this to you. There's your lights, and yung ating passing for headlights, and our signal light is also LED. And for the rear, there's our brakes, signal lights. So I just wanna appreciate the exhaust. A lot of bikes have been going here in the garage, and I've been seeing shorter exhaust already. And we're talking about stock short exhaust, meaning it's short, it's cut. You see the rear wheel, and it looks cool without compromising the performance of the bike or emissions, which is great. You know, manufacturers notice that a lot of custom guys, they cut the pipe, make it nice and short, but at the expense of performance, because they gotta retune the bike, they gotta make sure it's gonna be working fine. But Kawasaki said, hey, we're the manufacturer, we can do what you guys are doing even better, and we're gonna make it nice and short, and they are doing it fine. Let's take a listen. Doesn't that sound just awesome? Huh? In its context of neo retro, it is fitting, it is fine. You have a bit of digital going on in the middle. That's where it is. So you got the basics, your fuel, temperature of the bike, your gear, clock, and your odometer and trip meters. To your left is the speedometer, and to your right is the RPM. Pretty much basic, pretty heads up. Remember our friends who push for doble placa? Eto na yon. There's a provision for the doble placa. You can put it over there. I hope they figured out which size to put. It's not too big. Obviously, there's going to be a problem if it's going to be too big. There, doble placa ready. And it's done right. It's done fine. Another thing that I would want to protect in this context, because we live in the Philippines and sometimes we have a lot of debris on the road, I would find or look for like a radiator protector here just to shield it from little rocks here and there, right? So looking at this whole thing, it's a great mix of old and new. That 650 engine is tried and tested. It's fine. Got really good suspension as well. It's a straight up great bike. Now, is there anything here that I would change as well? A custom guy in me, looking at it, I'd keep it as it is, but I'd probably change the handlebars to something more streamlined that will not go upwards like this, right? If you see it from the front, you see it just going up. I would look for something like a handlebar that's gonna go maybe there. It's gonna go lower. Not too abrupt high, but something like right there. I think that would look cool, slick, and it'll still be comfortable. I would also change the mirrors. However, I have mixed feelings for this because the stem of this mirror is good quality. This is robust, it's good, it's beefy, and it's thick. However, it's this one that I'm not too excited about. So can you just change the top? No, you can't. You got to change the whole thing. So if you're gonna look for something aftermarket, yeah, look for something that's as thick as this, but with a better casing for the mirror, I think. I also appreciate that it's painted black. It's blacked out. You know, I'm not a big fan of chrome. That's why this bike appeals to me a lot, because the color scheme is great. Not too many shiny bits, well, except for the forks, but that's a given. And it works. Alright, brakes. Start with the rear. So, why is it important na kayo, pag may bago kami yung motor, na kailangan nyo maggamay ang brakes? You know, you need to understand your brakes. You need to know how your bike or your brakes behave. You need to know this. Para when you're braking, you know what to expect, diba? Let's go a bit faster. Interesting. I think parang progressive yung ABS nito, meaning alam mo yung force sa pahinto ka ng pahinto, mas nag-work yung ABS. How do I know this? It's because just right when I'm about to stop, you can feel the ABS working more. It's pumping more. So let's try. Zero skidding. I don't hear a squeak at all. Narinig ko lang is a schlep, schlep, clack, clack, schlep, schlep, clack, schlep. There's one little squeak. But how long did the squeak last? Siguro fraction of a second, 1/10 of a second maybe. Let's try the front now. Uy, may pusa, may pusa, may pusa. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. So, I'm telling you right now, front brakes ng Z650RS. Matindi. This is really, really good front braking. To the point na I gotta understand it more, because until what point will it stop na ganun kalakas without you losing or maybe having a slight skid? Obviously, napapasipa ko naman yung ABS agad. Okay, good. I have encountered a bike na aangat mo na yung likod after braking hard before the ABS kicks in. Here we go. Nice. Very good. Oh my goodness, it's blippy. Is that blippy? Oh, it's blippy. Okay, faster now, front brakes. Okay, superb. No rear lift on the front brakes. ABS is working fine. Let's try both now. I was able to make the rear lift a bit. This is really, really hard braking. But I was only able to make the rear lift with, interestingly enough, with both brakes this time. But on its own, the front only, I seem to cannot make it lift. It's 70% more power in front, 30% for the rear. And braking power with both is just, this is really, really good braking from the Kawasaki. Now I want to look at the dipping thing. Is it gonna dip? How much of the front is dipping? So yeah, that's how strong the front brakes are. You can't make the forks in front
I don't know how you're gonna make it compensate, but it's dipping. It's not dampening the front forks as hard. Some with abrupt braking in front, it's gonna be a gentle dampening of the front forks. You're gonna stop, like really stop with both brakes.
Walang perpektong motor. And kung meron lang tayong masuggest sa Kawasaki para sa mga future upgrades para dito sa bike na ito, I would say sana ma-incorporate pa nila yung mga ibang modern amenities with mobile devices at kung ano-ano pa. Pero yung hindi naman na magmumukhang telepono yung dash, di ba? May naisip lang ako, di ba? Just imagine this. What if old school analog pa rin yung bike, di ba? Maintain pa rin natin yung pagka-old school niya. Classic pa rin siya. Pero yung mga high-tech amenities like let's say GPS or bike performance figures na makikita pa rin natin in modern bikes, nandyan pa rin pero dun lang sa telepono. Gets nyo? Huwag natin i-connect doon sa dash ng classic bike. Ihiwalay natin, ilagay natin lahat sa app natin sa telepono. Tapos yung motor, as is where is lang siya. Pwede mag-win, pwede mo rin i-mount yung phone mo sa handlebars, which everybody's doing anyway. Unlike the Z900RS na may cafe version, eto na yun. Kulay na lang ang pagpipilian mo. Malapit sa akin ang classic looking bikes. In fact, yan ang preference ko sa lahat kung pang personal lang pinag-uusapan. Mas personalidad ko kasi. That said, sa daming Kawasaki na dumaan sa buhay ko, Z1000, KLX, KSR, Barako, Bajaj, W800, W250, parang eto na ata yung bago kong paborito. Madaling mahalin, madaling ibigin, at madaling sakyan. At kasundo ko agad. Parang relasyon lang ito no? Yung hindi nahanap ni Johnny Depp kay Amber Heard. Kabaliktaran. Presyo po, 469,000 pesos. While yes, naglalabasan ng mga ibang big bike na gawang China na mas mura, ibaba mo muna yung kilay mo at pakinggan mo yung sasabihin ko. Kailangan lang natin isipin na yung value nitong motor nito ay may nakaangkas na integridad, tradisyon at reputasyon na lagpas dekada na ang bilang. Presyong Kawasaki yan. Ganun talaga. Lagay natin sa lugar, di ba? Plus, resale value ng mga Jap bikes mas matibay talaga for now compared to China bikes. Makina Moto features, eto po si Sir Zack. Ay, teka nga pala. Makina Moto Show, malapit na po, July 29, 30, and 31. 3 days, 4 halls, isang industriyang motor. Yes, nandoon po ang Kawasaki. Magpapakasaya po tayo. Maraming good deals, maraming discount. It's gonna be a great weekend. Kita-kits po tayo doon. Makina Motor Features, this is Zach. Ciao!
In your sage list, the winner never comes. In love, sage list, the